Hello there! My name is Celeste Campbell and welcome to Celestial Creativity. On this channel, I like to paint and talk about the things that I'm passionate about, which is why I'm particularly excited about this topic I'm going to talk about today, which is menstruation. Now, before you get scared away, let me start by saying I think that this is something that's really important to be able to talk about more openly. Because, spoiler alert, everyone has a body. 100% of the people listening to this video have a body, and it's beautiful. Whether you're a man, you're a woman, whether you menstruate or not, I think that our beautiful bodies are something that we should be a little more willing to talk about and understand, because it helps us to increase our body positivity and understand ourselves a little bit better. So let me begin by telling you guys about my journey. Before I start, I would like to emphasize that I'm not a doctor. The following is my personal experience, and I'm excited to share it with you because like I said before, I think it's really going to help people to be able to understand their bodies and the way the world works a little bit better. So it all began one day when I was on my period. I was just laying on the floor, trying to motivate myself to get to work. I'm self-employed, I've got a to-do list to do, but I just was not feeling it. And it was an uphill battle getting myself to do anything except for scroll and watch random YouTube videos. And so I remember asking myself, what should I do? Should I let myself be lazy? Should I try to force myself to work? And I didn't know the answer to that question because no one had ever taught me. And that really hit me. I am 25 years old. I've been a woman my whole life and no one has ever taught me how to take care of myself. So I consulted Google. I found myself on YouTube, watching a few TED Talks about periods, listening to a few other influencers, and while it was positive, I wanted a deeper dive to have a better understanding, and I found myself on Audible buying a book called Love Your Lady Landscape by Lisa Lister. This book changed my life, and I highly recommend it, especially if you want to take a deeper dive. The best thing I learned from this book, and the one thing I'd like you to get out of this, if you get just one thing out of it, is this. A woman's body literally was designed to create. The reason why we menstruate is because the cycle of creation exists inside our body. Now, you can use that cycle to create anything. It could be a baby, it could be an idea, it could be a business. It's important to get in tune with yourself because whatever you want to create in this world, you can give birth to it. And I think that's so beautiful and a much more positive outlook on a period than the world gives us. I mean, we start bleeding and the world throws a tampon or a pad at us and tells us to cover it up, do it like a dude, to pretend it doesn't happen. But no, by looking at it as this beautiful cycle that happens inside of our body that is aiding us in the ability to create, I think that already, if you get one thing out of this, starts to change that mindset into something so much more precious and beautiful. The other really beautiful thing I learned from this book is that the cycle is more than just the couple of days while you're bleeding. It's actually the entire month. And this month is broken down into 4 different seasons. So she talks about that winter is while you're bleeding. Then after you get done bleeding, you enter into spring. Next comes summer, and that's while you're ovulating. Your body's ready to get pregnant, so you have a lot more energy and you want to go do fun stuff. And then autumn is the time when your energy starts to go down, and it's typically a little more demonized by society because you start to feel a little more emotional. But the thing I love about what Lisa talks about in this book is that each of these seasons actually are accompanied by superpowers, or things that you're a little bit better at during each stage of the cycle. And so by learning more about it and getting in tune with it, you actually have things that you can do better at specific times, and understanding this will help you to be more successful in life. Isn't that amazing? Why did no one tell me that before? So the night after I listened to this book, I had a dream. And in this dream, I was a woman with the ability to transform into 4 different dragons. And these 4 different dragons represented the different seasons and the superpowers described in the book that I read. And ding, 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 that's where these paintings come in. You may have noticed that this is part 1 of 4 of a series. So in this painting, I am painting the first dragon, the winter dragon, or the one that represents the bleed. And I want to tell you a little bit about what I learned about the superpowers and things that we can do to harness our superpowers during this time. When you think of winter, what comes to your mind? When I think of winter, I think of the world sitting under a blanket of snow and taking a rest. And that's actually exactly the idea behind what we should do during winter or when we are bleeding on our period. Because the truth is, our bodies have been working super hard the whole cycle to make a baby, and it didn't happen. So it's honestly just tired. And it's the same with the world. The world's been working really hard all year long. We just had the harvest, and it's taking a break. And so it is actually really important to let yourself just take a break during this time so that you can recharge and have the energy that you need to get things done the rest of the cycle. And you don't have to look at it as just going and taking a nap. It's actually giving your body what it needs to be able to create. This whole idea about being productive and hustling in our society, we go about it totally wrong because your body already knows how to create. Your period is part of the reproductive system. So by getting in tune with that and just listening to what your body needs, you are able to become even more productive. What are the superpowers that you have during winter? Now, this is in general. Every woman's a little bit different. So in general, what happens when you're on your period is it's actually an excellent time to become more introspective. Remember that blanket of snow we talked about? Our natural tendency during winter is to come inside and to turn inward, to go under a blanket, get our cup of cocoa, and think about the world. So we're more introspective. We tend to be more connected with our intuitive nature, and it's actually the best time to make decisions. In fact, in ancient cultures, the women of the village would bleed at the same time, and they would go into a tent alone together so that they could make decisions together for the village. And so you might want to think about next time you have a big decision to make, bleeding on it, or thinking about it while you're on your period, because this is a really good time to consult your inner knowing self. All right, that's some cool information. What should you do next? I have a few activities that I would suggest are productive, quote unquote, during this time of winter or while you are on your period. The first is pretty self-explanatory. That is self-care. Whatever that means to you, whatever is going to make you feel loved and supported during this time, the important part is you're not just taking a break, you are honoring your body where it is at so that when spring comes around the corner, you can come back with more energy and be able to accomplish the things that you want to in life. Now, I understand that life is not perfect. You still have work, school, you still have a life. And I'm not suggesting that you use this information as something else to beat yourself up over. Heavens no. And so maybe this means for the next couple of days at work, you're not a superstar. Recognizing that in a couple of more days, you'll be in spring and you'll be able to bounce back. Maybe it means at school, you do the bare minimum of what is expected of you, knowing that this is taking some time for self-care. The next thing I would suggest is journaling. How are you going to know what to do and how to care for your body unless you listen to yourself? I cannot stress how important introspection is, especially during this time. I think you'll really surprise yourself with just how in tune and how on you are. The next thing I suggest is to pray. Whatever that means to you, whatever kind of rituals you have, but take some time to connect with your higher power. Read. Make decisions. Most importantly, do what makes you feel good. I'm totally open to whatever suggestions/ideas you have. List them in the comments below. To sum it all up, while you're on your period, it's a really great time to take some time for you, do some introspection, and let your body recharge. You are your own best caretaker, and that means something different for everyone. And so I really highly suggest that you take some time for you, whatever that means, however it feels the best for you, because your body will thank you for it. And it's going to help you in life to be the best version of yourself. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I can't wait to talk to you more about this because I'm so passionate about it and it's really changed my life. So stay tuned for part 2 in the next video.